Most people treat sleep like a light switch. They run at 100 milliliters all day, slam the laptop shut at 11:59 p.m., jump into bed, and expect to be asleep at 12 hours. That is physically impossible. You cannot slam the brakes on a Ferrari doing 200 milliliters and expect it to stop instantly without crashing. You need a runway. You need to signal to your biology, slowly, that the hunt is over. 10 hours. Before bed, no caffeine, period. This is non-negotiable. You might say, but I can drink an espresso and fall asleep fine. You are wrong. You can fall unconscious, but you're not sleeping. Caffeine is an adenosine blocker. It acts as a competitive antagonist. It fits into the adenosine receptors like a key, but it doesn't turn them on. It just blocks the real adenosine from getting in. The problem is pharmacokinetics. The half-life of caffeine is about 5 to 6 hours, but the quarter life is about 12 hours. Furthermore, this depends on your genetics. The CYP1A2 gene determines how fast you metabolize caffeine. If you have the slow metabolizer variant, caffeine can stay in your system for up to 14 hours. If you drink a double shot cold brew, approximately 200 milliliters of caffeine, at 2 p.m., you still have 50 milliliters of bioactive caffeine circulating in your brain at 2 a.m. That is the equivalent of drinking half a cup of coffee right before bed. It sits in the receptors, preventing your brain from entering deep, restorative delta wave sleep. You get the light sleep, but you miss the cleaning cycle. You wake up exhausted because your lymphatic system never got the all-clear signal. If your goal is midnight sleep, caffeine stops at 2 p.m. Switch to water, electrolytes, or decaf. 3 hours before bed, no big meals. Digestion is a metabolically expensive process. It generates heat, thermogenesis. But, as we will discuss in step 2, sleep requires a core body temperature drop. If you eat a 16 oz steak at 10 p.m., your body is heating up to break down the proteins, just as it should be cooling down to shut off. You are sending conflicting signals to your autonomic nervous system. You are revving the engine while trying to park the car. 2 hours before. Bed, no work. Stop the input. The moment you open a spreadsheet, check your analytics, or look at your portfolio, you wake up the CEO. You re-engage the prefrontal cortex. You trigger beta waves. You need to create a buffer zone where the input stops so the processing can begin. You need to transition from doing to being. 1 hour before bed. The photon barrier. We have known for years that blue light suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals darkness. But recent research shows it acts through specific cells in your eye called melanopsin ganglion cells, IPRGCs. These cells are not for vision. They are photon counters. They are tuned to the specific frequency of blue light found in the midday sun. If you blast your retina with blue light at midnight, these cells scream, "It is noon," at your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your master clock. This suppresses the release of melatonin instantly. If you must be on screens, use aggressive red light filters like F-Lux, Iris, or Night Shift, or wear red lens blue blocking glasses. You want to simulate a campfire, not a supernova. Step 2, thermal triggering. This is the most underrated hack in sleep science. Your body needs to drop its core temperature by about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit, approx. Fornixes, to initiate deep sleep and transition into the delta wave state. This is a fundamental thermodynamic requirement for the transition from wakefulness to slumber. If your room is warm, 70 tamardu, your heart rate stays high as your body pumps blood to the skin to try and cool you down. An elevated heart rate inhibits deep sleep. You want your room to be a cave, cold, dark, quiet. Set the thermostat to around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. You want the air to be cool and your bedding to be warm. This thermal contrast promotes sleep. The pro hack, the warm bath effect. Take a hot shower or a hot bath about an hour before bed. It sounds counterintuitive. Why heat up if we want to cool down? This exploits a mechanism called vasodilation. When you are in the hot water, your body tries to dump heat. It dilates the capillaries in your hands, feet, and face, your glabrous skin surfaces. Blood rushes to the surface. When you step out of the shower into the cool air of your bedroom, all that heat radiates off you rapidly. Your core temperature plummets. That massive, sudden temperature drop is a biological trigger that signals to the brain, the sun has gone down, temperature is dropping, hibernate. It knocks you out faster than almost any pill. Step 3, the neural declutter, the analog air gap. This is the most important step for you, the creative night owl. This is how you solve the adrenaline problem. Most creators stay awake not because they aren't tired, but because of the Zeigarnik effect. This is a psychological principle named after Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. It states that unfinished tasks are better remembered than completed ones. An unfinished task creates cognitive tension, an open loop. Your brain keeps spinning on it to prevent you from losing the data. If you try to just sleep while you have a great idea, your brain will fight you. It views the sleep as a threat to the idea. If I sleep, I lose the solution. The solution is the analog air gap. Do not use your phone notes. The blue light kills melatonin, and the notifications trigger a dopamine loop that will have you scrolling for 2 hours. You need to keep a physical, analog notebook and a pen tied to it by your bed. This is your external hard drive. When the genius idea hits you at 1 a.m., you have a strict protocol. Do not turn on the main overhead lights. Use a small, dim book light or feel your way in the dark. Grab the pen. Write the seed. You do not write the whole chapter. You do not solve the whole equation. You write just enough keywords so that your future self can reconstruct it. Project X, marketing hook about silence. Fix the recursive loop in line 40. Close the book. The physical act of closing the book is profound. You are outsourcing the memory to the paper. You are signaling to your reticular activating system. Data captured. Information is safe. Permission to archive. You close the Zeigarnik loop. You give your brain permission to stand down, allowing your adrenaline to drop and your adenosine to take over again. Step 4. The neuroswitch. Manual override. You are in bed. It's cold. The idea is captured in the notebook, but your mind is still racing. You're staring at the shadows. You're still in beta wave state. Do not count sheep. Counting is math. Math is a logic process. Logic requires the prefrontal cortex. Logic generates beta waves, the electrical signature of a waking alert state. You're literally turning your brain on by counting. You need to manually toggle your nervous system from the sympathetic, fight or flight, to the parasympathetic, rest and digest. You cannot think your way into sleep because the thinking mind is the problem. You must use the body to control the mind. We use the physiological sigh. This is a breathing pattern identified by neurobiologists like Dr. Jack Feldman and popularized by Andrew Huberman. It is a pattern that mammals do naturally during sleep and when calming down from crying. It is the fastest way known to science to reduce autonomic arousal in real time. The pattern. Take a sharp, deep inhale through the nose, fill the lungs. The double tap. At the top of that inhale, take a second, shorter inhale to fully pop open the alveoli, the tiny air sacs in your lungs. Release a long, extended, slow exhale through the mouth, making a soft sighing sound until your lungs are completely empty. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. This double inhale, like Doc's long exhale pattern, is the most efficient way to offload carbon dioxide from the bloodstream. When carbon dioxide levels drop, your heart rate mechanically slows down via respiratory sinus arrhythmia. You are hacking the vagus nerve. You are physically forcing your body to calm down, and your mind will follow. Step 5. The morning anchor. This is the step everyone ignores, but it is the most critical. The quality of your sleep tonight is not determined by what you do tonight. It is determined by what you did this morning. Your circadian rhythm is a timer. It needs to be set every single day. The human clock runs slightly longer than 24 hours, about 24 hours and 15 minutes. If you don't reset it, you drift later and later every day. Within 30 minutes of waking up, even if you are tired, even if you only slept 5 hours, you must get bright natural sunlight in your eyes. Do not wear sunglasses. Do not look through a window. Glass blocks the specific UV wavelengths you need. Go outside. Sunny day, 5 to 10 minutes. Cloudy day, 15-20 minutes. This solar signal hits the melanopsin ganglion cells in your retina. It sends an electrical signal to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This triggers 2 things. A healthy pulse of cortisol now. This cortisol awakening response wakes your body up, clears out the adenosine from the night before, and boosts your immune system. Crucially, it starts a countdown timer. It tells your body, it is morning, start the clock. In exactly 16 hours, release melatonin. If you miss the morning light, you miss the evening melatonin window. If you wake up and stay in the dark or look at a dim phone screen, your brain doesn't know the day has started. The timer doesn't start. So 16 hours later, when you want to sleep, the melatonin doesn't come. You drift later and later, and the cycle of insomnia continues. It is that simple. Light is the primary zeitgeber, the time giver of the human body. Section 3. Advanced optimization, the 1% protocol established. That is the baseline. Now, let's talk about the 1% tweaks for the biohackers who want to squeeze every drop of performance out of their recovery. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. Consult your physician before taking anything. The Stanford Stack supplementation. Most people take melatonin. Stop. In many countries, melatonin is prescription only for a reason. It is a hormone. Most commercial supplements in the US are dosed wildly high, 5 milliliter to 10 milliliter. A physiological dose is 0.3. Taking massive doses of exogenous hormones can downregulate your body's natural production and can mess with your other hormonal axes, including reproductive hormones. You want your body to make its own melatonin. Instead, look into the stack often discussed by sleep researchers to support the GABAergic system, the brakes of the brain. Magnesium threonate, or bisglycinate. Magnesium is involved in over 600 enzymatic processes, but not all magnesium is created equal. Magnesium oxide, common in grocery stores, is a laxative and is poorly absorbed. You want threonate or bisglycinate. Threonate specifically has the unique ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. It acts as an antagonist at NMDA receptors, preventing excitotoxicity. It activates the parasympathetic system. It physically relaxes the muscles and quiets the mind. L-theanine. This is an amino acid found in green tea. Research indicates it increases alpha brainwaves, 8 to 12 hertz. Alpha waves are the bridge between the alert beta state and the drowsy theta state. It creates a feeling of alert relaxation. It helps shut off the racing monkey mind without sedating you like a sleeping pill. Apigenin. This is a potent bioflavonoid found in chamomile. It binds to chloride channels associated with GABA receptors, acting as a very mild natural anxiety reducer to aid the transition into sleep onset. The emergency protocol, NSDR. What happens if you do everything right, but you wake up at 3 a.m. and cannot fall back asleep? Do not stay in bed. The longer you lie in bed awake and frustrated, the more your brain builds an associative link. Bed and struggle. Bed and anxiety. You're training yourself to have insomnia. You're creating a Pavlovian response. If you haven't fallen back asleep in 20 minutes, get out of bed. Go to a dim room. Do not look at your phone. Lie down on the floor or a couch. Put on headphones and listen to a non-sleep deep rest, NSDR, or Yoga Nidra script. You can find these for free on YouTube. NSDR is a guided relaxation protocol that brings your brain into a state between wakefulness and sleep, a hypnagogic state, theta waves. Crucial science, studies, such as those by Kier et al. From the University of Copenhagen, show that periods of yoga nidra can increase dopamine in the brain and reduce cortisol almost as effectively as a nap. It creates a state of deep restoration. Even if you don't fall back to sleep, the NSDR allows your body to recover. It removes the panic of "I'm not sleeping." It is your system reboot. It salvages the next day. Conclusion: the mindset shift. Listen to me closely. Your nocturnal energy is not a disorder. It is not a curse. It is a superpower. It means you are a builder, a creator, a sentinel. You are part of the lineage of people who kept the fire burning so the tribe could survive the night. You have the ability to access flow states that the 5 a.m. crowd will never understand. You have the ability to see things in the silence that are invisible in the noise. But a superpower you can't control is just a liability. A Ferrari with no steering wheel is just a wreck waiting to happen. If you burn the candle at both ends, if you let the toxins build up, you will crash. The engine will seize. The world doesn't pay you for the ideas you have while staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., paralyzed by exhaustion. The world doesn't pay you for your potential. The world pays you for the things you build, ship, and execute at 9 a.m. The world pays for output, not intention. Sleep is not a weakness. Sleep is not time off. Sleep is not being lazy. Sleep is a performance-enhancing tool. It is the garage where you tune the Ferrari engine so it can race again tomorrow. It is the only time your brain can clean itself, repair its cells, and wire the new connections you made during the day. If you want to be elite, if you want to be the genius you know you are, you have to treat your recovery with the same discipline you treat your work. So capture the idea in the notebook. Trust that it will be there in the morning. Respect the recovery. Change your identity. You aren't an insomniac. You are a high-performance nocturnal creator who has mastered the off switch. I put the full nocturnal genius checklist, including the 10-3-2-1 fade, the supplement dosages, the temperature settings, and links to the NSDR protocols in the description below. Print it out, put it on your nightstand, make it your manual. If this deep dive helped you understand the machinery of your own mind, if it helped you stop hating your own brain, hit like and subscribe for more engineering of the human potential. We are building a community of high-performance outliers, and I want you in it. Now, go to sleep.